2023 is still a couple of years away, but the umpire is already preparing and in preparation mode. The ruling All Progressives Congress, its registration and revalidation exercise, we have an update. Intervention and development programs are key in strengthening the tie between government and the people. We will discuss the different approaches to reach the people as the pandemic bites hard into businesses and livelihoods. Also on political update today, the unique cycle of Nigerian elections, the podium, the ballot box, and finally the courts. I am Fisayo Gunfuyi. Welcome. Activities for the conduct of the 2023 general elections have taken off at the INEC headquarters Abuja with 2022 and to 2026 strategic plan committee inaugurated by the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu.
Scenes like this are expected on the 6th of November 2021 governorship election in Anambra State, Ekiti and Osun states in 2022, and the general elections on the 23rd of February 2023. A document that will align and realign all the activities is crucial. So, 2022 to 2026 Strategic Plan Committee, 15 members, 10 points of reference, commissioned for a 40-day mission.
This plan will form the basis, as I said, for the formulation of the election project plan for the 2023 general election. It will also help the Commission to identify all events, programs, and actions that need to be implemented before the 2023 general election.
The other issue that is recurrent is how to align this plan, the strategic plan, to the budgeting and financial cycles of the Commission.
Sitting starts immediately for members and for non-members back to the office, waiting for 19th of March 2021, when the document will be ready.
The All Progressives Congress APC is currently undergoing its revalidation and registration exercise. We have some views from across the country on the process.
In a symbolic event, the FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello revalidated his APC membership in the presence of party stalwarts and supporters.
It's an opportunity for members of our dear party to show their love for the party and to re-update their records, and more importantly for us to allow new members to come in.
In Kano State, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduji gave assurance of adequate mobilization for massive participation of Kano people in the ongoing membership revalidation and registration exercise.
The biggest democracy in Nigeria, we are expected to produce the largest number of APC followers.
Meanwhile, the Director General of the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum, Saliu Muhammad Lukman, has challenged leaders to be united in order to protect the achievements of the APC at all levels. Similarly, the North Central Zone also flagged off the APC revalidation exercise.
From 2014 to date, a lot of our young youth have turned 18 and are interested in joining party. So the only way to open the gates for them is to allow for an exercise like this to revalidate and to register new members.
As a political party, the APC is aspiring to have a situation where whoever emerges the standard bearer of the party for the 2023 presidential election will be able to sustain the legacies of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Last weekend, Shehu Saleh Rijau of the All Progressives Grand Alliance emerged the winner of the Magama Rijau Federal Constituency rerun election, defeating his closest rival by over 400 votes. Let's get the rest of the report from our correspondent in Niger State, Musa Mikel.
Election, which featured three political parties, saw the position keenly contested for by the candidates of All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, African Democratic Congress, ADC, and People's Democratic Party, PDP. Saleh Shehu Rijau of ABGA, having secured the highest vote cast ahead of Alamu Emmanuel of PDP and Nasir Yusuf of ADC, was declared elected by INEC returning officer, Professor Yaya Tankubaba.
Yusuf Nasiru of the ADC party scored 336. Shehu Saleh Joe of the ABGA scored 22,965. Alamu Emmanuel of the PDP scored 22,507. That Shehu Saleh Joe of ABGA, having certified the requirements of the law, is hereby declared winner and returned elected.
It will be recalled that the rerun election into the Magama Rijau Federal House of Representatives was sequel to a Court of Appeal order which annulled the previous election and also disqualified the All Progressive Congress from participating in the rerun 3 months ago.
Now to today's topic. In continuing our series on the soft landing in the era of the pandemic, we examine government's responses to the COVID-19 scourge, the efforts to ensure that society moves seamlessly on an even keel. Tough but resilient, daunting but not insurmountable, best describes the resolve of Nigerians to current realities across the globe, which also affects them locally. The Federal Support Unit coordinates the community and social development projects, SDP. This initiative, has gotten more and more vital as the rural communities battle with current realities. Joining us is Dr. Abdulkarim Obaje, National Coordinator, CSDP. Now, thank you for joining us and also taking time off your busy schedule. Now,
thank you very much.
Situate this project for us, in terms of the realities of the past 1 year. Plus in terms of objectives of the CSDP and the low-hanging fruits?
Well, the Community and Social Development Project is an initiative of the federal government of Nigeria with support from the World Bank. It has been run now in about 3 phases. The first phase, which we call the original CSDP, ran a course from 2009 to 2014. The second, which is called additional financing, from 2015, and it is still running. But then within the ambit of that additional financing, we have additional financing 1 and 2. Okay, the additional financing 2 focuses on the northeast of Nigeria because of the issues you are very familiar with. So all this put together, we have about $450 million credit facility from the World Bank, and these resources essentially is put at the disposal, majority of these resources is put at the disposal of poor communities and vulnerable groups in Nigeria to provide for themselves facilities, social amenities, natural resources, facilities and amenities at the poor community level. And using the principle of community-driven development, what we call CDD, they are in charge of their own development. They map out what they need. And the intervention is in up to 8 sectors. But the key, most prominent among them is water, provision of water, potable water for the people. Education facilities from primary school, secondary school, construction of laboratories and all that. Socioeconomic, town hall, market squares, etc. and health facilities. Okay, we are also in area of supporting rural roads, rural electrification, okay, natural resources conservation, construction of community housing, particularly in the northeast of Nigeria. And in fact, beyond the northeast of Nigeria now, we have community housing projects conceived by poor people, by vulnerable people, and then using the resources of CSDP, through the state agencies to address this need.
How enthusiastic have they been, in terms of keying into all this and the interface generally? You've told them the initiatives, and how have they been in terms of local communities in latching onto all the, initiatives and, the dividends?
It is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Over a period of about 11 years now, we have assisted poor communities to build for themselves facilities, infrastructural facilities, well over 15,500. And we have operated in about 585 plus minus local government across the country. These are local government that attempt poverty focal local government in each of the 30 participating states. The 30 states also include FCT. The principle is very simple. The poor communities are facilitated to conceive of their needs through a problem matrix, and then they do some voting to determine what their priority projects are going to be. The funding envelope is 10 million naira, and they are supposed to put down only 10% of that funding envelope of maximum of 10 million naira. And for vulnerable groups, it's 5%. And they pay this money into their own account. And our state agencies across the 30 participating states now put the equivalent of 90% of that envelope into the account. But
the 10% is to show that they are committed to
exactly,
it, they are
ownership,
part of it, they have taken
commitment, exactly. So as we speak, I mean, the communities are very, very excited because you are paying just 10% of a million, 10 million, for example, just maximum of 1 million. But in reality, what we have found out is that the communities actually invest a lot more than the 10% that is, through their labor, through other resources which they put at the disposal of the community. So even supervision, we sometimes are not even paid for and all that. So, and as we speak, the expression of interest for poor communities who have heard of a neighboring community benefiting from this intervention is, in some states, up to 500, 700 expression of interest. Communities who are willing to benefit, in spite of the fact that we still insist that 10% counterpart community contribution should be part of it. They are eager to do it.
Have we found, in your case, I don't know, have you found a situation where, well-meaning Nigerians who are not even members of those communities have tried to lend the helping hand for, some of these communities, and or perhaps even state governments trying to key into some of these things? Well,
let's also state this ab initio that the project is a state government project. It's an initiative of the federal government with support from the World Bank. But the credit facility is on lent by the federal government to all the participating state governments. So it's a state government initiative. So the state governments are fully involved. As you know, provision, the area of intervention is actually the things that have to do with local government, the kind of infrastructure facilities that local governments are supposed to. At primary level. At primary, residual list in the constitution, exactly. So the local government also play a very key role. So the participation is from the community through the local government system. And at the local government, we have the local government review committee that reviews all proposals, CDPs, what we call community development plans, from all participating interested communities. And they review it and clear them before they are forwarded to the state agencies for funding. So in terms of contribution by communities, I think it's an exciting topic for me because there's a lot of partnerships that we have noticed on this project. Individuals seeing that with just a token of less than $1 million, you are able to attract to your community, health centers, primary school innovation and what have you. Seen, they are very, very excited. And we have seen a lot of contribution. Not just what we are doing. Beyond what we are doing, individuals, philanthropists are coming to add value to it. For example, in a community in Adamawa State, we assisted the community to build a health center. Then an individual in the community built a borehole that animals, and there's a provision for animals to even drink water from there. We assisted them with electricity. So they use the electricity to power the borehole. And this is now about 7 or 8 years ongoing. If you go there, it's well preserved. And animals are still benefiting from there. Human beings also are benefiting from there. These examples are replicated all over the country. We see them all over. People are excited. They are very, very happy that this is coming.
As a good Nigerian, after the program, I'll check the list whether my dad's or my mom's village is in that list. But before we move to the next, let's look at some of these things we've been talking about. Where are we now in terms of the timelines?
Well, as I mentioned to you, CSDP started in 2009. We finally come to a close by 30th of September 2021. That means that it would have run, close to 11 years of its course. But in the offing is another program of the federal government called the Nigerian COVID Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus (NGKS) program. We are expecting that to be approved by the federal government of Nigeria anytime now. In December, but it was approved by the World Bank, board of the World Bank. So the battle is now on our turf. So a lot of preparations are ongoing as we speak. So, and this program is not a successor to CSDP, but it will use the infrastructure, human capital, and the facilities that CSDP has built over time. And it's not just CSDP. There are 3 resort areas. There is basic services, provision of basic services, social transfer, and public welfare, which is called Resort Area 1. Okay, that will make use of facilities of the National Cash Transfer Offices, for example, for the social transfer, the youth employment and social support operation, some of their facilities, the public welfare, the labor-intensive public welfare, livelihood grants, and of course, provision of social basic services, which is what CSDP is doing. All these ones are contained in Resort Area 1. We have Resort Area 2, which is a support for farmers in the country, that is, where using facilities of FADAMA. And of course, support for the Resort Area 3 is for micro, small-scale enterprises, which is also a new area, but Bank of Industry, using JIP, is also assisting in that area. So, NGKS is coming to make use of existing facilities of projects that have performed creditably well at the state government level, even at the federal level, to implement it. It's a 2-year program and a $750 million envelope.
We'll come back to the closing comments. Let's quickly take some stories from the court. Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered, in the course of the week, ordered that the rearrangement of former Abia State Governor Ojuzo Kalu in an alleged 7.1 billion naira money laundering charge be put on hold pending the resolution of legality of retrial. Justice Eko, in a ruling in an ex parte application by Kalu, also granted him leave to challenge the legality of retrial over same charges.
Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court has temporarily halted the retrial of the former Abia State Governor Ojuzo Kalu over alleged 7.1 billion naira corruption charges. Ruling on an ex parte application filed by the former Abia State Governor seeking the leave of court to file a motion against his retrial, Justice Eko said the Senate Chief Whip has placed sufficient materials of value before the court to enable him secure permission for judicial review of his trial in charges in which he had been tried, convicted, and sent to Kuje prison in Abuja, where he spent some months. Justice Eko, in addition, granted him permission to apply for order of perpetual injunction against the federal government through the EFCC to prohibit his retrial to avoid suffering double jeopardy. He consequently gave Ojuzo Kalu 7 days within which to file and serve EFCC all processes he intends to use to challenge the legality of the trial. The matter comes up on the 23rd of February for mention.
This order is just to give us permission to file a motion on notice for the court to determine whether it is fair for EFCC to start trying this man a second time.
The case of money laundering and criminal diversion of funds to the tune of 702 million naira against Doyin Okube, former senior special assistant to former President Goodluck Jonathan, also came up for hearing.
Still not leaving the courts, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division has upheld the disqualification of Francis Chukwuma Ibezem from being recognized as the Imo North senatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in the December 4th, 2020 by-election. The judgment was on a pre-election suit filed by Asamuha Tony Elegbeke seeking Ibezem's disqualification following discrepancies in his credentials.
I had approached the Federal High Court in Abuja praying to have Ibezim's nomination set aside for giving false information to INEC. A 3-man panel of the Court of Appeal in a unanimous judgment on Saturday upheld the December 4, 2020 judgment by Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court Abuja in the suit filed by Asomuga Tony Eleneke, disqualifying Ibezim for making a false claim about his age and educational credentials in the documents submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The court, while setting aside his nomination, said Ibezim was indeed not qualified to be the APC senatorial candidate for Imo North. The court also observed that the applicant failed to reconcile the obvious differences in his names, as indicated on his work certificate and other documents submitted to INEC. His appeal was therefore dismissed for lacking in merit.
All right, that is done and dusted. We return to our discussion on community development projects of the federal government of Nigeria. A handshake, of course, between the leaders and the led, and seeing exactly how the responses are, not from top bottom, but this time bottom top. We still have with us Dr. Abdul Karim Obaje, National Coordinator, CSDP. Now, a lot of things that are contained in the amenities you want to get done in those localities, at perhaps at the root cause of some clashes in some areas. Have you seen perhaps a lessening of hostilities when some of these things are fixed?
Certainly, in any human environment, there are these issues. But what we have emphasized on this project, being a bottom top project, is that where there are hostilities, we do not implement unless those hostilities are addressed, are resolved. So we have had to cancel some micro project implementation in some communities when there are crises. But on the whole, the level of grievance on the project is very, very low. Okay, because these are community projects determined by the community themselves, and they are infrastructural development projects. Okay, I mean construction of health center, education facilities, and all that. So it's and the amount of money too is also measured, 10 million naira maximum envelope. So it's not very, very attractive for people to come and and the level of pilfering too on the project is also very, very low, because funds are not disbursed at once. They are disbursed in tranches of 2 or 3, as the case may be. So, and it is subject to attainment of milestones. So you must achieve before funds are released. And there is also a disclosure boards that are provided in the community. So everybody knows that this money is coming, and as they are released, information is pasted there, and town criers go around to tell this money has come and this is what we are doing. A lot of transparency on this project.
No parties when the monies come, though. I said no local parties in the village when the monies come.
No, it's common interest.
Let me, look at some aspects of it in terms of the local economy.
Yes.
When you're talking of, building projects, do you involve the locals?
Very much.
In this?
Very much, very much. As a matter of fact, we insist that in the implementation of any of the micro projects, the local contractors must be given precedence. They must use local labor for construction, and then also procure, if they are available, from the environment. So by so doing, we also stimulate the local economy. This is highly, highly emphasized.
So now that that is winding down, your final comments on it and general comments in terms of your achievements in just about a minute before we close.
Yes. Well, we are winding down and we are not winding down. That means NGKS, when it comes on board, will inherit and use human and infrastructural facilities that have already been built over years. CSDP alone, for example, we have over 1,000 staff. About 600 of our staff are graduates. Okay? As at last count, we have about 20 PhD holders working at various levels, from the federal down to the state, who are committed to delivering service to poor people and vulnerable people in Nigeria. So we think this is a commendable initiative by the federal government of Nigeria, with overwhelming support of state government, because apart from these resources that are coming, the federal government is also putting its own resources to the federal office to run activities, as well as the state government. We have some state government that have put now into CSDP about 1.5 billion, to support operations. And we have expended close to over 90 billion naira over this 11 years.
If I like to continue, perhaps we will take it step by step, but time is not our friend. We've had Dr. Abdul Karim Obaje, National Coordinator, CSDP, on Political Update today. Many thanks for coming. When I go to my village, next time I'll check if your projects are right there on ground. If not, I'll let you know.
Check our signposts too as we move.
All right.
That's
been Political Update for today. Thank you for being a part of it. God willing, again, we'll see you again.